I think those tracks were going east, but you never know. You know, like animals, especially the wild dogs, they can really, if they change direction, they can be on your property in a matter of seconds. Of course, we also got old Chris out here helping us in Djuma Private Game Reserve. Yeah, good afternoon, welcome. Thank you very much for the comments. Yes, keep them coming. It is really awesome just to get out here and try and follow up what we can and see if we can enjoy the bumble with us. You never know, this is always expect the unexpected in this area. But it is a warm day. So what we're going to try and do, we're going to definitely head to certain dams. Like this is, I'm going to go to Hook Dam, head towards Quarry Pan. I think on such a hot day, things are going to come down to drink around the water areas. So we're definitely going to try and focus on that. It's around about 32, 33 degrees Celsius. That's about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. And of course, no rain for this predicted for today. Well, I thought this morning was going to be quite a bit of, well, actually not quite a bit of rain, but just by the cloud cover, and it was really getting cool. I got no rain coming through this day. But anyway, let's see what we can find. I'm going to see what we can do. I'm going to just reverse out of here and head back to Central. But yeah, while I reverse, let's head to the weather and see what the weather is doing for us. Alright, just going to quickly reverse here, folks. Just want to see if I can get back onto Central, and then I can follow up on what we need to follow. A neck spasm afterwards. I think I'll be walking backwards for the rest of my life if I have to do a game drive in reverse. But yeah, let's see what you can see here. I don't think anybody did Central this morning. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. But if you guys got any requests, whatever you want to see, please send us some comments. Let us know so we can try and find those animals for you. As I said, it is quite warm, so we're definitely going to see if we can head to certain dams and see if we can pick up on anything that side. But I don't know if anyone's seen Columba recently. I mean, I think Columba's been a bit scarce for the last couple of days. Not long, a couple of days, but it's always good to know. I know I had a cub the other day, not yesterday, the day before, around Pangolin Road, so that's pretty much further south from where we are. But I mean, by this time I'm sure she made a kill and moved them around. Anyway, while we carry on down Central, let's head to Chris and see what he says.
Yeah, hot afternoon out here in the Sabi Sand. Definitely one of the warmer afternoons that we had in some time. Even this lilac-breasted roller is just perched and also just waiting out the heat. Afternoon everyone, my name is Chris and with me today on CamOps is Owen, and we have a very special guest with us today. We have Roberta, which is from California, and she's joined us on a Ticket to Dream today on Wendy. And we're going to hopefully be able to live up to her wishes. And one thing that she wants to see is the hyena dens. So we are definitely going to be heading there. I'm sure everybody else will be delighted to go and see the hyenas. And obviously anything else that comes up. I know that there was reports of marips and Langa that was off our property but very close towards Little Gowrie. That might be something to follow up on a bit later. Perhaps one of them will move into our area. That bird is just sitting there. He's not keen to move. All the viewers are giving Roberta a very big welcome. Everybody says welcome and hope you enjoy it. Thank you all. Interesting is that birds, when it's hot like this, they become very inactive, and it's quite obvious. You know, they use a lot of energy to try and cool themselves down by sort of guttural fluttering, as we refer to, or panting. But in fact, they can tolerate slightly higher temperatures. I mean, their core body temperature is higher than ours, at about 38 degrees. So once it gets above that, then they really struggle. And you can even see their feeding behavior goes down. So very hot summers is also not ideal for them even. Mostly some birds have a much higher tolerance to heat. In fact, I was not involved in a study, but when I was in the Kalahari, we had some researchers on the property where I worked, and amongst one of them was, I can't remember who exactly it was, but the study was done on heat regulation on birds in these variable environments, deserts, etc. And they found that one of the birds that's one of the most effective with thermoregulation out here is the namakwa doves, apparently. They can tolerate temperatures higher than most of the other birds. So instead of panting, they literally just vibrate the throat. It's literally like a fluttering. So it uses less energy, and it's as effective as panting to get rid of heat. Very interesting. And we have a starling there. Birchals. Is it a birchals? Also very inactive, eh? Alright, so we're going to probably head towards Treehouse Dam very soon. Hi, Sinak. Hoping to see Marips and Langa. Well, they are literally about 100 meters south of our property in the Mulwati drainage. I was there this morning, and where they were on the bank, and I couldn't actually see any of them. Obviously can't drive closer because it's not a traversable area for us. But it's a hot day. Maybe one of them has moved to Treehouse Dam, or perhaps that little pan just south. Oh, not Treehouse Dam, Twin Dams. Maybe towards one of those pans. And I think that's definitely something worth exploring. So right, I reckon let's start heading and first go and check Treehouse, see what's happening there, and then from there we'll probably sort of slowly head to Twin Dams, and we might even pop down to Chitwa and see what's happening there. And by then we should have good conditions for the Hyena den. So let's head out to Treehouse Dam. Alright, so we are going to have a nice, easy-going bumble, so join us, see if you can spot something. I'm just going to drive and focus on the road, and let's see if you can help us to see something out in the bush. When you're out on a drive like this, it's really, really that time where you have these moments in between sightings en route to them and just soak up the bush and just enjoy it. Just let your thoughts go, and it's cleansing one's soul in a way, you know. It's really, it's like therapy. Even in my free time, I'll go out, and then back at home I'll then take my wife and kids out on little bumbles as well. I mean, I live out on a farm, so always nice to be out in the bush.
Yes, welcome back, welcome back. Not too far from Buffelshoek Dam now. Just going to take a look around that area. Let's see if we can, maybe there's a hippo or two, or a leopard or two. That'll be very nice, I'll be very happy in the area. I can smell a very, very pungent smell of elephants that's coming through here. So definitely elephant been here not too long ago. It's got this real fresh smell of elephants. Oh, there's a hippo. Oh, hello! Let's take a look. Yeah. This looks like just the one male still inside here. It might be the same. I always thought this hippo, I'm not too sure, because if there's no hippo at Quarry Dam, there's one at Buffelshoek Dam or the Treehouse Dam. So that, okay, so there must be two males. One at Quarry Dam, if it's not there, it's at Treehouse Dam, or this one could be the one from Quarry Dam and he comes to Buffelshoek Dam. Of course, a lonely boy, really not interested in any challenges or any other males around, or any pods of female. Usually when they get to a certain age, about 30-35, they tend to move away from those pods and come to their own little areas, their own little territory, their own water holes. So they don't have to challenge anybody. They're pretty much on retirement, which is awesome. They're very clever. I like the idea of what they're doing. But you know, it's also we must understand is that we've got a little Wahlbergs there flying past. Beautiful. Looks like slowly but surely they're also going to be migrating back north. I was reading a piece about the Wahlbergs recently and how far they actually do migrate. They go all the way, funny enough, all the way to Russia for migration, you know, from us to there. And then they'll come back to the exact same area. So, where's my binocs? I'll get my binocs, I'll just check here. Yeah. It looks like more of a juvenile African hawk eagle, eh? I just want to double check on that. It's definitely as a juvenile. Oh, but he's gone like right above us now. There's no way he's a... But it's a juvenile. I want to look here carefully. Yeah. African hawk eagle. Unfortunately, he's just gone past us here, but it's a juvenile. It's got beautiful. Hasn't got its full plumage, but he's just gone past us now. But yeah, actually amazing that the Wahlbergs go all the way to Russia side. Cameron, good afternoon. Welcome to WildEarth. Thank you very much for the quick question. I believe that hot weather is better than rain. Rain is like, if you think of your dogs and cats at home, what would they do on a real rainy day? They'll go in and take cover and rest somewhere and avoid the rain itself. So only like, your hot weather, you can still come to the dams. Animals, certain species like the elephants, buffalo, rhinos, a lot of animals will come to the waterholes during hot days to come for a drink. So of course you've got a lot of, like, there's more action, there's um, more activity happening at the dams on hot days. That's why you'll do like this typical dam to dam, pan to pan hopping, and just to take a look around the water areas as well. You must remember, sometimes if lions or leopard fed on something, they go to the closest water hole and they finish feeding, come to the closest water hole in the morning and it's getting hot, they'll come for a nice drink, and then they won't move too far from the dams. You'll find that they'll tend to lie around the dam areas in a shady area, so they don't have to wander off too far, and just rest for the morning and for the late afternoons or the early afternoons. So that's also very, very important. So that's why I always feel that the summer hot days is still good to jump from dam to dam. Rain, I don't mind rain. It's fantastic. It's what we need and all. But I just find that animals become a little bit more docile and dormant on a rainy day compared to a nice warm day. So yeah, so it depends on what you really enjoy. I mean, it smells. If you're thinking about a smell, the smells on a rainy day, you get that beautiful bush vegetation smell that comes out, and the real fragrance that comes through, which absolutely is nice. It goes into your nostrils, and you just feel like you're in the bush. It feels like you're in nature. So that does happen. So you can have those experiences through the times. Just taking a look. I saw more than one hippo there. Magic Dragon Wizard. I love that name. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for the question. Welcome to WildEarth. Yes, I'm sure we can see some lizards, monitors, skinks, snakes. All your cold-blooded animals, especially on a hot day like this, they'll definitely be sunning somewhere on the rock or on a dead log. So definitely your chances of finding those things around on a day like this is much, much greater. So definitely we'll keep our eyes open and see if we can pick up on any of those reptilians, and see if we can see any of that. But just even a snake, so we call it sunning. So even a snake will like lie across the road, enjoying the warmth of or the heat of the sun, just to warm up the blood, the body temperature. So of course you can get that mobility on going to the next place, and then of course maybe doing its hunt while the body temperature is high. So yes, we'll definitely take a look. I know Chris said he wants to maybe end up at Chitwa Dam, so I think maybe he might be lucky. He'll bump into that crocodile. There is I think there's 2 or 3 crocodiles that's in that dam, so maybe he'll bump into them and take a look there. That's a very big lizard. So yeah, hopefully Chris can pick up on that. And yeah, but we'll also take a look, of course. We definitely will take a look around and see what we can find. Of course. Sorry, I just fell there. You got a beautiful greenback heron there. I think just inside that fallen down knobthorn. It's a beautiful. I think we saw it well, if you guys did stay tuned in with us, we did see it the other day. The same greenback heron. Definitely just enjoying that cover and using that perch for hunting and catching frogs and little fish, tadpoles, all those kind of things. So he just keeps very still and takes that opportunity when there's a little bit of disturbance coming to the surface of that water, and they'll strike with immense speed, which it's incredible when you see that. I still love to get that one down in slow-mo if I can really sit back and watch for hours just to see that greenback heron striking so quickly. As you can see, that greenback heron might strike. It looks like he wants to strike. Oh yes, how quick was that? Yes, that was so quick. That was quick. So of course, they also do catch insects. Don't get me wrong. So many times you'll get your like ponds, skaters, things like that. They'll also pretty much catch. That's pretty much above the surface of the dam itself or the water. But very successful hunters. Very, very successful hunters. Most of the times when you see them striking, they usually come up with their kill. I'm just going to go a little bit forward. We've got a grey heron that's on the other side of the dam. I want to try and take a look. I just want to quickly go there. So you can see you'll see now, that's a grey heron. Much larger compared to your greenback heron. Much taller, longer legs, longer neck. So they don't use perches. Well, they do. Don't get me wrong, they do as well. But of course, they move more in the water and slowly with that long legs and that long neck compared to your greenback heron that's much shorter and using the perch as a striking point. It's pretty much feeding on the same thing, frogs, tadpoles, fish.
Right, I'm here at Trias Dam now, and we know that there's this blacksmith lapwing that's nesting there. It might be in the shot there. Let's see if we can see the eggs there. And that's another story we'll need to follow for a bit. Don't want to go too close, it might prompt her to move off. Usually 3 eggs. And I can't see them now, but they're extremely well camouflaged, those eggs. Sort of like little black and brown spots on it. Because they don't build nest, they just make a little depression in the soil and lay the eggs right there exposed. So therefore, if it's a big white egg, it's just going to stand out like a sore thumb. So a bit more cryptically coloured, camouflaged rather. And you see that this is a recurring theme with most ground nesting birds. Other than that, around Trias, we do have our usual old hippo bull still in here. The fellow's just calming. I love watching hippo, eh? It's like one of these days. Remember a couple of days ago, one of the viewers asked me about what animal would I like to be. And you know, if I can choose to be one animal, what would I like to be? I remember that a day like today, definitely hippo. It is really, really hot this afternoon. Don't get angry, boy. We're not going to harm you. Just love sitting at waterholes, don't you? And just like that, they disappear. You know they're there. And if you think about it, you drive past here and they submerge. You won't even realize there's a hippo in there. And they can stay on the water for, on very cool days, on hot days, probably 3 to 4 minutes. You know, I can barely hold my breath for like half a minute. I said it before, this is a very big hippo bull. You can see that the head of it is just like broad. The distance between the eyes. It's a big boy, this. Look at that, now it's showing us his body. We got a question from Riva, who's asking, are hippos fast runners on land? Hi there, Riva. I love that question. Now, if you compare hippos to some of the other dangerous animals out here, the cats and elephants and so forth, they are much slower than them. However, still a lot faster than us. They can probably reach about 40 kilometers an hour on land. So even though they're one of the slower large animals, we probably still won't be able to outrun them. In the water, they can probably reach about 8 kilometers an hour, which is roughly about 5 miles per hour in the water. I mean, just imagine that. And this is just what they do the entire day. Breathe, go down. Breathe and go down. Yeah, how soothing. It's like you can just find yourself just getting lost in these moments. Right, we have a question from Rain's Light, and the question is for me: what is your favorite animal fact from childhood and now? Wow, okay, I need to figure that one out a bit. Right, from my childhood, I can remember one of my earliest memories, an animal fact, was that a white rhino has got a broad mouth and a black rhino has got a pointed prehensile mouth. Somehow that's something that sticks in my mind as one of the first facts I could probably recall learning about animals or nature. Wow, okay, now it's a whole different ball game. This is 40 years later. So basically an animal, favorite animal fact. Okay, I'm gonna have to choose one of the 2 million. Give me a second on that one. I'm trying to dig deep now. I always laugh at these questions in a way because it's so broad. It's so difficult for us to get down to favorites. Well, let's do one on hippo. There's an animal, a hippo that walked, I can't remember from exactly where to where, but it was a well-known, well, the hippo actually even got a name. I think it is Huberta, that walked from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, some ridiculous trip, like 1,000 kilometers or something. I'll just check the facts, but I remember a story about that. That's also one of my childhood. There was even a cartoon about this particular hippo. So that, I'm going to say, is another one of my childhood memories of an animal fact. And I'll have to come back to you a little later about one of my more recent favorite animal facts, as I'll need to go through a lot of things in my mind. Well, while I do that, let's head over to Cedric and see what he's up to.
No, not yet. It's not happening. Can't hear a thing. Well, welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Just at Quarry Pan now. Just taking a look at Quarry Pan. This is, I know many times the llama likes leaving her little ones around this side. Look very, very careful in this area. I haven't really seen any tracks yet, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, let's go. Loads of cluster leaves around here. Oh, typical sea pine when you got all these cluster leaves everywhere, and of course your wattle. A lot of, pretty much you know that there's a lot of underground water in this area. It's pretty much a sensitive area as well, your sea plines. Because many times what happens is you've got a sea pline and the water is pretty much coming downhill, and you've got a road coming across. Will actually sometimes stop that actual flow of the sea pline that's underground. So the person always has to really work out where you're putting a road in these areas, and making sure you're not cutting off the supply, the water supply that's pretty much heading down through to the valleys, to the lower areas. which rely a lot on water. Oh, I think this, I don't know, I think this back tire of Rusty's definitely from this morning already is making a noise. So I'm just hoping that we stay intact and don't fall out here. Hopefully the tire doesn't come passing me here. Oh, yeah, right. I'll just take a look what's on the road there. Is it, sorry, is this a sandgrass? Oh, sorry, I might be wrong. I'm just quickly double checking out. Oh, no, it's a starling. No, it's a starling. Just enjoying a bit of a dust bath. Loving it. Because definitely in the late afternoons or just before, many times the birds will go and roost and rest, and that they'll actually have a nice dust bath. Get those that wax that's on top of the feathers itself, nicely groomed out with the sun penetrating. It does kind of make it softer, and then of course a bit of the dust bathing and all that. It really clings together and makes the feathers much stronger.
Just give them a thumbs up. They're asking for... Alright, so we just repositioned a bit. And there's the eggs that I was talking about. I know Rexon was here the other day as well. And remember what I said about the coloration in the eggs. You can clearly see those brown and cream and khaki spots on it, black, and that is just so well camouflaged. I mean, we obviously picked it out now with the camera, but it just look at that. You'll mistake it for pebbles. One of the reasons is at times both of them will be off the nest going looking for food, and they might often leave the nest slightly unattended. So then the sun helps to incubate it, so they don't necessarily have to sit on top of the eggs all the time and focus on feeding. So the cryptic camouflage coloration of the eggs therefore is vital. Come on, mama, get back onto your eggs. Such pretty birds. You get them this close so you could really see that almost like pure white on the head and the back of the net, that rich black color, that lovely light gray on the wings. It's really awesome. It was quite nice, I must say. Alright, we've managed to relocate again on the eggs, and Mum's got back to the nest. Well, either Mum or Dad, they both incubate. I was just saying to Roberta how beautiful these birds are when you're this close to them. temperatures also slowly dropping, you know, so after this we'll probably start heading down to Djuma Dam. Quite endearing, seeing the mum on the nest. See, the biggest threats to these eggs would be monkeys, baboons. They often will steal them. Monitor lizards, especially the water monitor lizards, they could come and consume them. There's a couple of mongoose, banded mongoose especially. There's even a snake that could eat the eggs, a common or rhombic egg eater. That could also consume the eggs. So, yeah, it starts from an early stage. Right, I've got a question from B, who's 12 years old, and wants to know if lapwings are related to herons. Not closely. They are together in a very broad grouping, but as birds they are in two separate families. So they're not closely related. There's a very broad grouping that groups them together, but it's somewhat irrelevant. It's just taxonomy. So they are not, essentially for the purpose of your question, they are in different families of birds. Lapwings are closer relatives of plovers. In fact, some lapwings used to be called plovers, including this one. Yeah, I reckon this is more or less a good time to start heading to Djuma Dam. See what's happening there. Maybe we'll see some more birds and maybe some other surprises. Never know. We know that there was that crocodile there that used to come out of the water quite a lot. So maybe we're lucky and we see that there. Well, I hope that this one will successfully incubate the eggs and rear the chicks. They're quite cute in the little chicks. They don't look like the adults at all. It takes a while before they develop. It's like very weird sort of look to them when they're young. That's not an elephant. I heard something that sounded like an elephant in the distance. Right, well, I reckon this is a good time to head over to Pridelands to say hello to JP.
We decided for this afternoon we're going to quickly pop in to Djuma Dam, and at the moment the dam is living up to its reputation, as we've already got its first elephant that came in for a drink. There was also a number of warthogs which was enjoying a drink as well as a mud bath. Unfortunately, our warthogs have moved off, and I hope that there's some more of them going to come back. So my name is JP, and behind the camera we've got Johan. So other than the elephant, we've also noticed that there was a number of ducks that we haven't seen here on Pridelands yet before, and they're very close by towards where the elephant is. And they're just roughly there towards the right of the elephant, some 15 meters to his right. And those are known as red-billed teals, which I've never seen before on Pridelands. It's always nice to find something new that you haven't seen before, and then add that onto your reserve list. I just love keeping lists of different areas where I do go and bird. I keep one for world list, as well as I will keep a list for South Africa, Southern Africa, and then for every province and some of the smaller reserves which I work on as well. It keeps it fun, and it keeps it always focusing on finding a new bird. But let's get back to our elephant and see what he's getting up to. One of the things I did notice with this elephant is that his trunk is appearing slightly shorter than that it should. And it's most likely that he has actually had his trunk somewhere in a snare at some point. And elephants are quite curious, and quite often when people do put up snares in conservation areas or on the edges of conservation areas, they do get their trunks unfortunately stuck in there. But it doesn't seem if it stops him off from having a drink and using it to actually bring water to his mouth. Well, we're going to watch our elephant for a little bit longer and see what he gets up to. In the meanwhile, let's just enjoy the peace and quiet and the sounds what we can hear of the different bird species in the background. Good afternoon, Astrid, and welcome to the show. Yes, they're absolutely magical to sit and watch elephant when they do come down for a drink. And it's even more magical for me if they do decide that they are going to have a little bit of a swim. Well, we're going to keep on watching our elephant for a little bit longer, but in the meanwhile, let's go and see what Cedric is up to.
It's just going along pretty much we call it a drainage line, but not like a drainage line. It's not, it's smaller than a river. It's like a stream bed. that's just to the left of us. I was going along here, of course, a lot of times as well that certain animals will head into an area where it's nice and cool on a hot day, like the lions and leopard will head into a nice area where it's cooler, the sand is softer, the sand is cooler, and they'll nestle in here for the day until it gets, of course, once the sun starts setting, and they can start moving around again. But just keeping an eye open here as well. Some of you remember not long ago when the Lamba actually had a kill here that was stolen by ribbon in this area. So just coming past this area again, keeping a close eye, see if maybe we're lucky on anything this side. But so far, it's still very much a warm day, very much a warm day. I'm actually looking for one of those creepers, if anybody knows those devil thorn. I'm going to take a look. If I find one, I'm definitely going to jump out and smear it all over me because it's pretty much good for sunblock. Well, not very much. It's very good for sunblock. It's always helped me instead of using normal sunscreen. I'm just trying to see if I can pick up on some. Usually you'll find them always on the side of the roads. Most of the areas that's been disturbed, you'll find the devil's thorn actually thrives. I think that side. Sorry, I just thought I saw a track there. Many years ago, the devil's thorn, I was actually explaining to people about devil's thorn, where you can like put water, add water to the leaves, and you can actually make like a little bit of a gel for the sunscreen. And I had a few guests on my vehicle, and unfortunately what happened is that I kind of didn't tell them what to do at that point in time, and they go and grab the leaves and all that, and I thought, oh, this is edible stuff. And while I was turning my back to grab some more leaves for the rest of the vehicle, I had two of the guests that were sitting right behind me chewing on the leaves, and it was not a pretty sight, because while they were chewing on the leaves, eventually it looked like they were starting to do all this gum, because you add water to the leaves, it adds like a kind of a gel, and yeah, they weren't too happy with the real, because it's very bitter. They weren't too happy with that bitter and jelly feeling. Yeah. Anyway, luckily it's not poisonous or anything, and toxic, so it's not too bad. You won't die from it. But I'm just stopping here in the riverbed here at the Molawati. It's just pretty much right in front of us now. I'm just going to hang back a bit here and listen out once again and see if we can hear anything. Use our senses.
The things that we did notice about him is that his trunk. Good afternoon and welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. We're at the moment looking at a young elephant bull that is busy drinking, as well as spraying himself full of mud to cool himself down. One of the things that we did notice about him is that the tip of his trunk is actually missing. However, it doesn't prevent him from using it for both drinking as well as using it for a range of other tasks that he would normally use his trunk for. One of the things that you also notice is where he's busy drinking, and what he was busy doing is actually creating a small hole in the side of the dam away from the main part of the water with his foot, so that the clean water could start welling up inside that little area. I also quite often do that in riverbeds, where the riverbed is dry, and on the inside of the riverbed they'll start digging. And also a wide range of different animals that will benefit from that when they are creating those holes in the dry seasons, and species like baboon, as well as a number of antelope species like wildebeest, I've even noticed, will also drink from there. Welcome back to Pridelands. We've just been watching a young elephant bull that was busy drinking. And one of the things that he was busy up to was actually creating a small little depression in the side of a soil close by to the edge of the dam, allowing clean water to well up inside there. Normally that water is nice and cool as well. And it's one of the tricks that we often teach students when it comes to basic survival tactics of how to get water. And just like the elephant that will go to the side of a dam or to the inner bed of a dry river bed to go and dig for water, we can find water there too. There's a few extra tricks that we can do. We can put a large amount of leaf material in there, and we can also put a reed down there, hollowed out reed in between the leaf material, and then cover it up again with soil. And then clean water will actually percolate into that area with very little sand. We can see that's one of the things that the elephants don't like when they start creating these little holes. First they'll spray all the loose sand out until it's only water that's inside there. And eventually they'll deepen it out and deepen it out till it's deep enough for other species of animals also to use. You can see he's still full of mud on his shoulders, as he was also spraying some mud onto himself to actually cool himself down. He's most likely going to go out and go and feed again from here. The very same elephant we watched some 15 minutes ago when he did come down to the water's edge, we did notice that there's a streak of chemical secretions that's been deposited from the temporal glands. And quite often this is actually confused with being in must, but it seems as if simply the heat, as well as a combination of food quality and a number of bulls dominating him, might actually add a little bit of stress onto him at the moment. We're just going to pan around on the dam. Our red bull teals are back again, which is one of the duck species I've never seen before on Pridelands. They're quite often confused with Cape teals, but they don't have a black saddle and black cap. And if we do look at the coloration of the Cape teal's bull, it's much lighter or more pinkish red in color compared to the darker red color. If these birds do fly off, you'll actually notice that there's no iridescent green color, which we refer to as a speculum inside the wing, unlike that of the similar looking Cape teal. One of the reasons why they actually might have popped into the dam is because the water levels of the dam has now started dropping, as I've normally only find them in much shallower dams and ponds, as they don't really like very deep dams. Good afternoon, Cecil, and welcome to the show. When it does come to elephants, I would never say that they can be friendly. Some of them are just more tolerant to us compared to others that might actually be less tolerant to us. Just like humans, they've also got their own individual temperaments, and that temperament is actually something that is built up through experience. And if they had negative experiences with humans in the past, they can also become very tricky to deal with if they don't have a liking in humans. One of our warthogs are now coming back again. We see him in the shady spot close by to the dam. Let's see if he's going to pop down and come and have another mud wallow there. For some reason, he didn't like it too much when the elephant approached him, and he decided rather to move off. we quite often will notice that a lot of the animals will actually not hang around close by to elephants, or the elephants might actually be aggressive towards them and chase them off. A few days ago, we've also watched impalas being chased over here, as well as zebras being chased away by an elephant that came to decide to have a drink. It seems that there's another little depression that's been created there at the back, where the elephants were also digging with their feet. And our warthog has also now discovered that little spot, and you can see that his lower part of his body is glistening with the mud and the reflection of the light that is actually coming off him. Let's see what he is going to get up to. And the reason why I say he, if we do look at his face, I'm sure if Johanna has the ability to zoom in close enough, but you'll notice that there's a large set of warts directly underneath the eye, followed by a second set of warts further down towards the snout. In females, we only find a single set of these warts. And the reason why the males have a double set of these warts and close by to the eyes is to actually protect the eyes when it comes to fighting. And you don't want to get your eyes damaged with a very sharp tusk. And tusks is what they use as weapons against other males, as well as against potential predators that might try and capture them. Our warthog is now running off and decided to go somewhere else. I just love the way that their tails always go up into the air as soon as they start moving off. And that tail that goes up into the air, that's a unique characteristic to only warthog, as they're the only pig species to do so. While we watch our pig running off, let's go and see what Cedric is up to.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Yes, we're just sitting here with a beautiful female elephant, enjoying afternoon snack. Pretty much earlier we got those elephant tracks in the Molawati, all coming this side. So there's definitely this herd, because there's further on there's a few more, but they're also hidden behind the bush. But I'm not going to go much further, because this female is pretty much almost right in front of us. She might even pop out in front of us on the road. But of course, many times you'll find nice herds like this moving through. It's all pretty much controlled by a matriarch, usually the oldest and the most experienced female in the breeding herd. She'll be the one that will be leading them to the next waterhole, the water areas for a drink, a swim, whatever, and also to areas where there's enough vegetation for a good feed. You'll find elephants in the Greater Kruger Park. Looking at the ages, I mean, this female that we just had now, well, I can't see now, but hopefully she pops out for us. But she's quite old. You'll see our elephants get up to about 60 years old, plus minus 60 years old in the Greater Kruger Park. Elephants in Botswana area, vegetation softer, they'll get up to about plus minus 70. And elephants in the captivity, of course, they don't eat on very hard material, and they'll get up to about 80 plus minus. So it all comes down to wear and tear on the teeth. That's why elephants, they'll have 6 sets of molars that they'll pretty much run through. So the first set will wear down, the second set will come through. Acts like a conveyor belt. Once that 6th set is worn down, they cannot put an amount of vegetation, which is around about 5% of their body weight, into their body, and then they usually die of starvation and not of old age. But yeah, no, it's not an ideal thing, but you'll find 60 years old is quite a good age for an animal, especially in the wild. They're amazing. But elephants cannot be too picky on what they are putting in and what they're eating. I mean, it's not like roots, leaves, grasses, seeds. Quite a variety of vegetation that they will actually feed on. And the main reason for that is that you can imagine if a big male elephant of 6 tons has to be picky during winter time, it won't be a good thing. So a big male of 6 tons has to eat about 250 kgs of vegetation per day. That's a lot and a lot of food. Right, I'm just going to go a bit forward, see if we can get the rest of the family in front of us. Let's see what we can pick up on that side. No. Hello, girl. Hello, girl. Oh, hello. Which way do you want to go? She wants to follow the rest of the family and give us some space. Let's she jump out in front of us. Well, not jump out, but walk out in front of us. We can imagine if an elephant has to jump out in front of us. Yeah, that won't be good. That'll be a new scenario for me, a jumping elephant. Good afternoon, Nikki. Welcome to WildEarth. Thank you very much for your question. Do elephants ever practice osteophagia? Osteophagia is, of course, feeding on bones. I've seen elephants pick up bones, just like your giraffe could do, and get a little bit of the calcium out of it. You can imagine with those big bones, tusks, a lot of calcium is needed. So osteophagia, I have seen them do it before. But of course, they won't swallow the whole thing. They just really scrape off pieces. Just going to go a little bit forward, folks. Just want to see where the rest are. I know they are in front of us. But this is a nice big girl, nice female. Old, you can if I look carefully. But they are heading towards Twin Dams. They are heading straight to Twin Dams. So I'm sure they are going to go for a nice drink, because I can't think of any other dams that was further back that had a nice watering hole. So, and I mean, that's where I picked up those tracks of them. Let's take a look at them. Maybe like a bit of a swim. I'm just going to shoot around at them coming towards us.
Welcome back to Pridelands. We decided to hang around a little bit longer at our dam as it's still quite hot. And we're deciding if we're going to actually start a little walk or just simply stick over here in the shade and wait for the animals to actually come and have a drink at the dam. So far we had elephant as well as warthog that came down. And for those of you that have just joined us, we've also managed to find some red-billed teals, two little ducks that are swimming towards our left now. It's the first time that I've actually noticed them over here. Other than that, there's not much going on, except for a few terrapins that have now also started moving up onto the side of the embankment. I'm just going to see if I can direct Johan to the direction of where they are. Johan, if you do look at that big leadwood that's at the edge of the dam, they're just directly to the left-hand side of our leadwood. If you do notice, you'll see that they're fairly large dome-shaped shells which they have. Also got incredibly hard shells, which makes it possible for them to actually enter water bodies where crocodiles do occur, compared to as many of the softer-bodied terrapin species, which are not so well adapted to crocodiles. However, they still do get taken by crocodiles. When it does come to the serrated hinge terrapin that we see over here, it's one of the two species of terrapins we have in the Lowveld, and it's also the largest of all the terrapin species which we have over here. They can get roughly some 40 centimeters and approximately in diameter, and their weights range between 7 and 8 kilograms. However, there's claims of up to 11 kilograms for this species as well. And if you were wondering why they're sitting on the edge of the dam at the moment, they deliberately positioned themselves on to the eastern side of the dam, enjoying that late afternoon sun, so that they can increase their body temperature, precisely like a crocodile would do. And then they tend to spend most of the time at night in the water being active, just like crocodiles would do, as water has a more constant temperature compared to the air mass. Welcome back to Pridelands. At the moment we are looking at a serrated hinge terrapin. There's actually 2 or 3 of them that's on the side of the dam. We were just explaining that they're there specifically to increase their body temperature so that they can actually go back into the water. And throughout the night we find that the water temperature is more consistent than air temperature. And as a reptile, you're pretty much dependent on the outside temperatures of the sun to regulate your body temperature. So they will either move into the water or move from shade. One of the things that we do find with these terrapins is that they will often wait for birds to come close by to the edge of water and then grab them and then drown them. Some species of terrapins will also swim up to animals and come and nibble ticks off the side of their legs. We're just also discussing how they've got much larger and more harder dome-shaped shells, which is an adaptation to water bodies where they do encounter crocodiles, which makes them a little bit more resilient to a crocodile attack. We've also just been mentioning that it doesn't make them immune against crocodiles, as crocodiles can still take them. There's a number of other things that I do find particularly interesting about the shell. As if at the bottom part to the front, there's actually a hinge that will come upwards, which will assist with closing the head after that the head has been pulled in. Welcome back to Eco Training Pridelands. We're still at Ndlovu Dam, and our elephant has now returned for a quick drink. Well, now it seems that he's changing direction. We just also wanted to apologize about the signal at the moment, as well as we are experiencing tech issues on both Djuma as well as over here. So you might actually lose us every now and then. We're going to try our very best to have it fixed as quickly as possible and to stay with you as long as possible as well. So if some of the feeds don't go through and they're sticking with us, I would love to encourage you to actually start asking us questions. This makes it that little bit easier for me to actually provide information which is interesting to you, instead of babbling on about what's going on around us at the dam at that moment. And it seems as if our elephant is not coming back. Let's see what he is going to get up to. Welcome back to Pridelands. We're still at Ndlovu Dam, and our next elephant has just come in to sneak in for a drink. We first saw him coming from the back through the vegetation, and then he just disappeared. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he popped out behind the dam wall, and now he's making his way down. Let's sit and watch him, and just in the meanwhile, while we're watching him, while he's having a drink, enjoy all the different sounds in the background of different birds that are calling. Good afternoon, Joey, and welcome to the show. And with Joey's question, if elephants do arrive at waterholes, would they scare off predators? Joey, it can actually go both ways, and I've seen elephants actually running off with the presence of predators such as lions at a waterhole, and I've also seen lions being chased by elephants as well. In general, we find that elephants are incredibly cautious when it does come to lions. And quite often I've seen big single bulls very quickly chasing lions, and big prides of lions too, as it's very unlikely that they can do something towards them. But we do know that there's several records of lions actually taking down elephants as well. But when it does come to hunting an elephant, you actually have to physically exhausted, and they will constantly focus on one individual within a group. And they sometimes have to take between 17 and 22 hours to actually wear that animal down until it's so exhausted that it will drop to the ground, and they'll simply start feeding on that animal while it's still alive. I've personally never seen that behavior taking place, and that's something that they generally will find in Botswana, and they used to find that behavior quite typical in the winter months when there is no other prey species around. But as a lion, you don't want to really put unnecessary risk in hunting a big animal like an elephant, as they can potentially bring harm to you. And being seriously injured mean that you can't eat and that you can't compete with other lions when it does come to feeding. Which will also in return mean that you're going to very quickly start losing body condition and very likely not make it inside that group. Now Elephant had his little drink, and now he's decided to actually start spraying himself with water. Today is actually one of those days where I specifically wish I do have a camera with me, as the light is actually perfect at the moment, with it being the last little bit of light before the sun sets. If you want to take perfect photos, you also need perfect light, and the first hour after sunrise and the last hour before sunset does provide you with that perfect opportunity. In the meanwhile, as we watch our elephant, let's go and see what the rest of the team is up to.
Welcome back, welcome back. Sorry, still got a couple of gremlins just creeping through here, but anyway, welcome back everybody. Just still sitting with Djuma. Yeah, she's got a nice little full belly, but you can see how dark she is. That is absolutely, I think that name is pinpoint for this hyena in Djuma, meaning black or dark in color. So you can just see that belly, you see the legs, just see the coat itself. It almost seems like she's just coming out of that cub coat, that dark coat. But I mean, she's already 5 years old, so clearly she should have been out of that long time ago. But it's most probably just the way her coat is, which is absolutely lovely. It's nice to see a dark hyena for a change like this. Very easy one to identify. But we had it, once again, heard something from the entrance of the den. We definitely heard, again, maybe some movement there. So, still not too sure exactly how many cubs she's got. We still haven't really had visual on them, and I don't think we'll have visual on them, not today, because that was still too small. But we're hoping in the next week or two we shall at least give you a count on Djuma's cubs. But as you know, she's pretty much very low on the matriarchy line. Her mother, Ribbon, she's not the matriarch of the clan. So because she's the daughter of Ribbon, which is a lower ranked female in the clan itself, it made this female in Djuma a very low ranked female. But you must remember, she's still ranked pretty much higher than the highest ranked male that you do get. The female hyenas are very much the high ranking gender in the clan. Good afternoon, Gabby. Thank you very much for your comment. Yes, can't believe they sleep well when there are threats all around. Very much so, but you must remember they don't go into deep sleep. Like all the animals really, yeah. There's no like conscious state like we do. We go in a full conscious state when we sleep, and especially me. I can tell you can even put a steam train next to my bed and let it go past, and I wouldn't wake up when I'm in deep sleep. But you'll find that the wild animals out here is always in a semi-conscious state. Always the ears are working, always back and forth, listening out. I mean, if I have to just rattle or do something, shake the grass, you'll find that she'll get her head up very quickly. But other than that, she's definitely sleeping, but semi-conscious. You can see that ears. And even the smell as well. So if the scent of a predator, or even a rustle of an elephant coming through, she'll get up and she'll move, or she'll not just move, she'll just look and make sure that she's safe. She doesn't want to get trampled on by an elephant or taken out by another predator. But anyway, let's leave Djuma to her peaceful sleep or semi-sleep, and then we can head back to Chris and see what he's up to on his drive. Back with our plan. Still no little ones, but I think this was all good. So I'm going to come back to Roberta's question about how do wild dogs maintain their status as the alpha pair in a pack, and why is it that they're the only ones who breed? It doesn't make sense, you know. And so yeah, we discussed it at length, but I'm going to revisit that. You know, when an alpha female becomes an alpha female, it's usually when new young packs form together, and they form by
young females that moves away as a group and meets up with other males that are not related to them. So they are somewhat related, and this young males will also be related to each other. And that ranking is basically established through aggression and fighting to a certain degree. So now you've got the established alpha pair, and they're the only ones who breed. Now, one might then ask, why only the alpha pair? And the reality is they have big litters, up to 16 at a time, so they rather develop this system where those relatives and subsequent young ones that they also give birth to, who will stay with the pack for some time, will help the alpha pair to rear the cubs, to ensure that those cubs have a better chance of survival. And because the alpha female will have some genetic relationship to those females, it makes sense, because they also help to then preserve that or similar genetics by helping the alpha mother to rear her cubs. It even goes as far as some of those females might even lactate, and that's one of the reasons why they won't breed. They won't ovulate while they're lactating. So, and the alpha female will maintain her position, same with the alpha male, again through strength, which will involve the show of aggression when needed, disciplining when needed, and then combat when needed. Just saw another hyena in the back there, but it's disappeared now. It's probably Corky. It was a rather big female. So maybe we've been lucky and Corky pictures of that. The cherry on top. There we go. So I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Have you ever been this close to a hyena? It's Corky. Look at this interesting behavior now. I'm really hoping the young one will come out, the baby one. That will be so great if that can happen. Here comes another one that comes in.